Hey troops, Roxee here and welcome to Roxee Plays Games and welcome back to another episode of Farming Simulator 19 back in Chellington Valley, Chellington Valley on Chellington Farm. That's some mouthfuls that I'm trying to get out there. Yes, we are going to continue with our playthrough and tutorials, but before I get into the video I want to do my usual thank you. So thank you for everyone who has liked my previous videos, and thank you for everyone who has subscribed to the channel. As always, it is really appreciated. Yes, this guy has just brought this cultivator back from the shop for me, so let me just stop you. And we've got another guy who's bringing in a fertilizer. Let me get those waypoints disappeared, that's better. And we'll close you out. I'm going to park this up and then I shall explain to you what the plan is for today's episode. Fairly straightforward. We're going to do a few videos, kind of all linking into each other. I was going to do one long one, and I actually did record it, and I've decided to start again. I've changed the equipment because some of the equipment was just going to take far too long to do what I wanted to do, and also the video, or the YouTube video, would have ended up being about an hour and a half long, and I just thought, you know, so that's too long, because I was basically combining a few different Courseplay tutorials all into one. And here is the other guy coming in with the fertilizer. Let's quickly jump in him. There we go. And we can stop. Thank you, sir. Let's go, and in fact I'll leave this on here for now because we're going to be using this at some point fairly soon. So a couple of videos that I want to put out, or a couple of tutorials I want to put out, is one going from the farm to a field, one doing jobs on the field, one going from the field back to the farm where we can then wash the vehicles, and also one where we need to, or if we need to, refill seeder or fertilizer. So there's a few different videos that I wanted to do, and like I say, I've already done this. I recorded it and it was almost an hour and a half long, and I thought, nope, it's too long. And then if someone only wants to know, how to get from a field to refill and back to the field again, it would have meant that you would have had to watch the whole video just to find out where that little bit is, which I thought was kind of pointless. So what I'm actually going to do is break it down into 2 or 3 different videos. So the first one we're going to do, if we just open up the map, we're going to start off on field 1. Field 1 needs cultivating. So what I'm actually going to do is set up a route so that we can get a tractor and a cultivator out to the field and do the cultivating. So it's going to be two jobs, if you want to call it that, 2 Courseplay programs. 2 routes, that's probably the better word to use. So we're going to have one route that's going to get to the farm, and then one actual route that's going to be the job on the farm. Now, for ease of vehicles not crashing into each other, certainly when we have more tractors, more workers going out to different fields and stuff like that, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to have the route go from anything that's in the farm. If it's going anywhere above 1 or to the right of 1, or even to the left of 1, it'll go through the through the farm, up the road, and then it'll head in whichever direction, left or right, that it needs to go. Anything that's going to be below will come out of the farm down here along this lane, and then if it's field 1, they'll go up into field 1. If it's anything below field 1, then they'll go down the way. So I'll have a kind of a ring road route, if you want to call it that they're going to be going anti-clockwise. The only things that will come down this road and into the farm, it'll be anything coming from the shop, and that's not going to be very often at all. Anything that's going to be coming back into the farm will be coming along the top, and then they're going to come down this back little lane into the back of the farm, into the courtyard where we are now. So what we want to do first of all is jump into our tractor, turn her on. Now we're going to do field 1 in this video, so this one's going to be a nice easy one. I'm not going to go through the whole showing you the cultivating going on. I'm sure that you'll be familiar with that, and you're probably just watching this to see how Courseplay works. And you can do this from wherever you want, however you want. You can drive up to the field and then do this if you wanted to. I'm just going to show you how we can combine a couple of things together. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to set up a route to go to field 1. So I'm just going to go through, check that I'm happy with all of the settings in this. Speed limits, that's fine. That's the courses that we've already got. And that's this. What I'm actually going to do, just in case I do mess up and I need to start all over again, is I'm actually going to save. Do a save. I couldn't think of the words to say then. Go. Right, that's a save done. So what we're going to do is we are going to make sure that we're on the point to point and not on the field work. If we have it on the field work, when you then let them go off on their own, it will open the cultivator. Or if it's a fertilizer, they will turn the fertilizer on, which you don't want to do. We're on a point to point. We're going to drive course. Stop. No, we're not. I completely messed that one up, didn't I? Let's rewind a little bit and start again. We're going to clear the course off because we don't want to be driving the course. We want to start course recording. That's a great start for teaching you how to do something. I'll show you how not to do something. Make sure that you got rid of any courses that are loaded in. So if you've got a course loaded in, it will show up here. All you got to do is clear it, and then we can start course recording. We've got a little one-way arrow symbol. That's symbolising the start, and we are going to be going, because we're going to field 1. Let's open this gate quickly. Because we're going to field 1, we're going to be going out the back of the farm, past the cedars. When we come to do field 2 and 3 in a future episode, we will be going through the farm and up to the main road. I do really like this map. Every time I come on, I mean, the old farm that I'm currently playing in multiplayer with the Sims and Stuff community, that is the best map that I've ever played on. But I've come on here, and the more I come on here and the more I look around and I look at the scenery, the shape, the textures, the terrain, the fields, how they're undulating in different shapes, very similar to the Valley of the Old Farm. I'm really liking this one. This one is a close contender, certainly. Right, so this is field 1. We want to get ourselves to this point here, and we're going to click stop recording. We're going to click on save, and then we're going to do farm to field 1, and then I'm just going to put worker, so I know that this is basically just get the workers to the field, and that's that done. So we can close that one out. And then what will happen is if we was at the farm and we wanted to get someone out here, we can just load that one up. What I'm going to do now, before we actually start any cultivating, is I'm now going to set up a route to go back to the farm, and then we can have a look at how the first one's worked. So what you want to do is when you're going back, you want to get yourself to a point where the tractor can easily get to. Now this is a nice open easy field, so there's no problems here, so I'm quite happy to have this point here. What you wouldn't want to do is you wouldn't want to start the route to go back to the farm somewhere like this, especially if you've got fences and gates, because they could be coming from over in that direction, could come from over here, and they will literally, once they finish doing whatever they want and you start them on to the next course, they will do a direct line to the start point, and you could end up having a few problems. So make sure you get yourself in a nice simple position to start the route going back. This one's fairly straightforward. This is just literally point A to point B to get in, point A to point B to get out. Okay, so we're going to make sure it's cleared, start course recording, and then we're going to drive back into the farm. And we're actually going to drive to the pressure washer, because once we've done some work, that is essentially where we want to go to give everything a clean once we've done the jobs. So rather than going back to, matter of fact, I'm going to show you how you put in a like a pause, like a parking thing. So we're going to drive out like this. We're going to be coming in here. We're going to stop there, and we're going to hit the park button. What will happen now is the driver will get to here and it will pause. He won't go any further. We can then come here with our pressure washer, clean the equipment, and then we can then set him on to continue with the rest of the route. So all you do is hit that P button. You only need to hit it the once and then that's it. And then we can drive around here, turn around here, make sure that I don't go into that boxed area there, because that is where the sheep will spawn. And then we can come round here. And then stop here. Click stop. Save field 1. I'm going to actually call it field 1. I know I did the other one as F1. Field 1 to wash point, because that's where it's going to go to. Click save. So now if we just close that down, we've got a couple of things here now. So we've got farm to field 1 worker, we've got the farm to the shop, field 1 to the wash point, and shop to farm. So we want to get our worker now back to the farm so he can do some cultivating, and we can show you how to set that up. So what we're going to do is click on the load button, back to here. We know that the start point is what have I done here? Word did. Oh, it's because I'm not showing it on, am I? That's why. I was like, where's the start point gone? If you go into the settings here, this is where you can see your routes or disable it. I should have probably left the start and finish on so I can actually see for myself to make sure I'm in the right place. It's always an idea when you are going to start a route up that you have the vehicle roughly near where it's going to be able to go. If I was behind a wall, it'll try and go through the wall to get to it, so just make sure I'm in a good point here, can easily get to that without any problems. So we're going to come onto here, we're going to start off at the first waypoint, drive course, and he will now follow that route that we've already driven. Really, really simple. So I'm going to jump out, let him go off and do his duties. Now, like I say, I was originally going to go and show you how to set up for fertilizing, doing fields with islands in the middle, doing refills, all in one video, and it was just too long. I think most people would have kind of watched for the first few minutes and then just left. So I'm going to break them up into a few different videos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the recording and just wait for our guy to come up the road. And here he comes. Wasn't long at all. A little bit longer for me. but not for long for you. So he's at the waypoint now, end of the waypoint, so he has reached the trigger or endpoint. So let's jump in there and stop driver. The next thing that we're going to do now is we want to set up for cultivating. So we now know we can get the guy out here, we can get the guy back, but we want to get some work done. So we're going to bring it to the start point. Now here's a little thing, here's a little tip that I need that open so I can use my mouse to show you. Can I move this around? No, I can't. When you start the job will start, or the course will start from wherever the center point. I kind of think of it as this little nodule on top of the roof. That is where the course will start from. All of the markers that it lays out as it lays them, it's marking it from there, not your trailer. So if your trailer's 100 foot long, you've got to bear that in mind. It's going to be starting from the point of this point on the tractor. So we want to start cultivating. So we're actually going to bring the tractor, the tractor to about here, rather than starting it here and then it driving out. Reason being, especially when you've got, here's not a problem because we've got a couple of bushes, so it'll be fine. But if you've got fences, if we've got walls and stuff like that, if you start the point here, he will open up the cultivator, the seed or whatever you've got, he'll open it up here and then start driving off to start the job. And like I say, if you've got walls and stuff like that, it's going to clip on there and potentially get stuck. So we can be about here, really, realistically, and then you can open up and there's going to be no issues. Maybe a little back, yeah, there, that will be, wait, when we're doing back a little bit, just there. So what we're going to do now is we need to be on field work this time. We're going to click course generation, and then that opens up the map. We're on field 1, so we're going to click on field 1, or you can click through, cycle through, and it'll only cycle through the fields that you own. We're going to leave all of these as they are, and then we're going to click generate field course. I'm going to just show you what it looks like if we do different options. So this is you generate back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now, a few problems with doing something like that, especially when you've got trailers or if you've got big equipment, big harvesters, is they may get stuck on the edges when it's trying to turn around. So we've got a couple of things we can do there. We can put on a headland. So if we click on a headland, basically what that means is that go around the headland however many times you put on here, before it then starts going back and forth. So if we now click space, as you can see now, we've got one circuit around and then they'll start going back and forth. In fact, it'll actually get up here and then start coming back and forth all the way down here and finish at the end. Not too bad. Still a little bit of a problem, it may clip on the edges here and here, especially if you've got fences or trees. So what if we used to put on, I don't know, 5 headlands? Let's have a look at that. Oh, that's a lot better, isn't it? Not too bad. This is probably ideal if you're harvesting. But what I will say is for anything that's got a trailer, especially seeders, but cultivators is going to be the same thing, is what will happen, let me zoom in a little bit. When he's coming along here, he'll get to this point here, because that's quite a sharp turn, he won't be able to turn like that. So he'll actually come out, he'll end up reversing and going forwards and reversing and going forwards until he gets to the right point, and then he'll drive off. Doing that on every single one of these little bits, especially on big fields, is going to take out extra bits of time. So it's essentially going to add on time to what he's actually doing. So it's not very efficient at all. So there's a couple of things that we can do here to combat that. We can either just add on more headlands until we get to the point where there's no back and forth. Oh, a little bit in the middle there, so let's go for another 2 more. Will that sort it out? Let's go for 1 more. Yeah, that's probably the. I mean, we could add a. We might have been able to get. Let's go up to 20 and just see what that does. Yeah, it's not really changing that last little bit in the middle. So it's a spider's web essentially. Just goes round and round and round and round and round and round. This is probably the better option for seeders and fertilizers. Provided you've got no objects around, and that isn't really an issue, and we'll see that when we come to do field 2. This is probably the better option because he's not having to do lots of reversing. He could just basically just keep going around. It'll get a little bit tight around here, so he might have to do some reversing on these sharp corners, but shouldn't be too bad. Another option that we can do is lose connection. That's not very convenient, is it? Let me just quickly sort that out. Okay, we are back. That was a little bit of an inconvenience, so sorry about that. Right, let's get back into what we were doing. So, course generation, and we had going around. We had a whole bunch of headlands. First option there. So the other option that we can do is we could do, I don't know, let's say 5 headlands. That's a train going past behind me. Yeah, so we could do like 5 headlands, so that would look like, oh, huh? Could not generate course, try changing the settings or moving the vehicle. Oh, okay, let me just move a little bit, shall we? Course generation. Try changing the settings or moving the vehicle. Oh, this little crash that I just had has really messed things up, and now we've got trains coming past. What's going on? But at least I'm showing you some of the problems that can happen, so at least you will be able to work them out a little bit easier. So let's get ourselves to this point here. Course generation. Ah, that's why. It's because I hadn't clicked on a field, you derp. Right, so make sure you click on a field so you've got that selected. Right. Such a noob sometimes. Right, so what I was saying the first time round is these turns are too sharp, so end up doing back and forth. So what you can do is you can skip a row. So rather than going along like this, like that, he will skip a row and then move to the next one. So let's say we skip, I don't know, 2 rows. Let's have a look what that looks like. So if you look at the yellow now, so it'll come along here, it'll miss those first 2 and then it'll do the third one. It'll miss these 2 and do the third one. So it's going along. The yellow's a lot wider now. So I'll do the yellows, yellow, yellow, and then it'll start going back and it'll do the oranges, and then it'll come back and then it'll do the reds and then finish. So the wider turns. Now I don't know whether this one's better or doing the spider circle method is better. You're just going to have to play around and see what it looks like. But we're going to have a look at this one first. Let's click escape to go back. And that's what I'm going to go for this first one. So we're going to click on save, field 1, cultivate, skip 2 rows, just so I remember what this one was, and save. So we're going to start the course at the first waypoint and we're going to click drive course. So I'll open up because we are at the start. And then off he goes. Down the bottom right hand corner it will show you how long it's going to take. So this is going to take 1 hour and 4 minutes. Bit of a long old haul there. And that is where he's going to finish. So that is pretty much it. There's not really much more I can say for this particular course. Really simple. Obviously, I had a little bit of an issue with the game crashing on me there, and then me forgetting to load up field 1. So there's me thinking there was an issue, but it was actually me. I'm the issue. But really simple. Cultivating and ploughing, obviously they're going to be the same thing. Very simple. Get yourself to the start point of where you want to go to. Field work. Lay your course out, decide what type of course you want to do, try out the different methods, see which one's going to suit you best. I'm going to have a look at this one. So that said like an hour and 4 minutes. Next time I come to cultivate this, I'll try the spider method and see if it's any quicker or any slower. Because obviously going all back and forth, that's certainly going to add on time when it's having to do a lot of reversing. So we will call it an end of an episode now. Next episode we're going to continue with Courseplay. We're going to go over to field number 2, and this one's already been been ploughed actually, so it's ready to be seeded. So what we're going to do is we're going to fertilize this field and we're going to seed this field, but you'll notice there's a couple of trees in the middle, so we've got a bit of an island. So I'll show you how you put that into your Courseplay to avoid trees, and then hopefully this one will be done and we can continue from there. So once again, thanks for watching. Hope that this has been helpful for those of you that are getting into Courseplay. We've got a few more videos that I want to do on Courseplay, and then we will get into the meat and bones of seasons and start getting some animals once we've got all of the crops that we need. So thanks for watching, stay safe, and I shall speak to you soon. Goodbye.